Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this might be my favourite ever episode of Bloke in a Bar. First of all, partly because we have the limited edition Bloke in a Cardigan. Go check our socials for where it is now stocked. It is not being brewed again. But 90% of the way is because every time I think about you coming on the podcast and Manly on the weekend, I giggle a little bit and then I come in my pants. That's how much pleasure it brings me to watch you guys suffer.
Yeah,
How are you
right,
going?
okay.
See, it's funny. I have been looking forward all week to coming on here and telling you I told you Penrith would win. That's what I've been excited about. That's what I've been thrilled about.
Flood bet.
The flood bet was real. It was a thing, and it couldn't have happened in better circumstances. The Friday night game, look, I was away. I was on a golf trip.
Yeah.
I was pretty well inebriated. Long day on the course, plenty of brews. It happens.
Okay.
It's also, we were saying this, and I don't think there's enough weighting put on the road trip. It's the toughest road trip in
It
rugby
is.
league.
We were saying that the other day. There's
North
no
of
tougher.
The bridge, getting down to the Gong, Spit Bridge. If the Spit Bridge is up and you're trying to get down to Wollongong, fucking add 45 minutes to your trip.
Name a better tunnel in the Southern Hemisphere than the M5 tunnel. Name one.
I can't.
You can't. That's how you get from Manly to Wollongong.
I'm hearing a lot of
No, it's not.
excuses.
But
I was like, I feel like you're just arguing against our point, and I'm trying to stop you, and you're saying there's a good...
Wollongong, not much better.
Better tunnel. Yeah, look, I mean, now you've fucked us. Now you have fucked us. Because I was thinking road trip,
They've
hardest road
never
trip in
been more
town.
prepared for a match.
No, that's
This
not
was
true.
the
That's
match.
not true.
They've never been.
That's not true. You could argue they'd be more prepared for the 2011 Grand Final.
They were more prepared than that.
Well,
I don't think
Ben
so.
Hunt has come out and put you to the sword.
he sent me a message on Friday. I was coming in here to do the live stream, and it was like, he goes, "I've had an erection for 70 minutes," and I was just like, "Thank you, terrific." Is that what I'm walking into? All right.
Look, it wasn't our best game,
No,
Dennis.
it wasn't our best game.
And
Honestly.
no one at Manly's going to, put their hand up and say that it wasn't. But it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
You take your licks, you take your learnings.
I feel like you're still
And you get
on
better.
the downward curve, though.
I don't think so.
I honestly believe...
I think it's hard to get lower than that. Getting towed up by the Dragons. No offense, but I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's as low as it
And
gets.
Ben Hunt had a broken leg.
Yeah, exactly.
His leg was shattered. He was playing on crutches.
Yeah.
so you're telling me we could get lower than that?
I think you're still on a downward spiral.
I mean, I think losing to a one-legged Ben Hunt in Wollongong.
He
is
shattered his leg.
That's as low as I've felt. That's as low as I've fucking felt. And then not just that, but to like the disrespect of Hook to just to rest him for the final 10 minutes or whatever. It was like, you know what, let's show some mercy to these fuckers.
That's a Joey S, Lockyer, Thurston. You rest those boys.
If we're not in the Mariana Trench now, then I'm shocked.
Now, for those who don't know, Mariana Trench, deepest part of the earth.
That's right.
11 K's deep.
All
That's what
I
we
can
feel
say
Give or
is...
take.
Give or take.
Put it this way. You face a red-hot Broncos, because they're red-hot right now. 24-0, 22-0 or 24-0.
Bruh, it was
Red
fucking
hot.
It was 2-0 after 70 minutes.
Kept them scoreless. We're in the Penrith Panthers territory right now. We're going on the same run pretty much.
Yeah.
We may hold more teams scoreless than the Penrith Panthers.
How many
this year.
people do you reckon turned off that Broncos game out of sheer boredom
Yeah.
at 2-0 after 70 minutes?
Look,
90%?
That's what that is?
95% of
That's
people?
called grind footy. You're grinding them.
It's called yawn footy. It's called yawn footy.
It's yawn footy.
That's what you just don't understand as a Manly fan. Sometimes you've got to grind through the first 60 and not fire a shot to fire your whole load at the end.
What do you think?
I'd rather get 30 put on me having a crap.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather a load nice and early. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to wait 70 minutes for a load.
Nah.
Just give it to me up front.
You want the load at the front.
Well, I'd prefer a load early, or at least some pre-cum.
Some pre-cum.
Keep me interested, mate. Warm me up.
But where was the load from Manly on the weekend?
No, we were firing blanks. We had our proverbial tubes tied. But that's I don't know if that's to do with testicles though, but imagine it was.
Our tubes were tied.
Our tubes were tied, so
Metaphorically.
we couldn't come.
So what, you're untying them this week?
Well, we're looking to. We've
Well,
consulted
look, we've
with
consulted doctors. What do you think? Why do you think I look so frazzled, Dan? I've been
Fucking on the
I've been
blower
meetings.
all week.
I've been on the blower since Friday at 6 p.m. When
I
things
don't
turn
know
to the
Dr.
worst.
Victor Chang. He's a brain surgeon. I didn't know that. I thought he was, untie
Victor
the
called me
tubes.
and called Victor and he said, I don't
have anything
I
to do
don't
with this thing.
untie tubes, mate.
And also, you've got testicles, so we don't know what you're talking about. Manly in a hole, though. Yes. Manly in a hole. Broncos still pretty much in a hole, though.
Red hot right now. That last 20 was the best we have ever seen in my life.
The last 20 was good. The last 20 was a great 20 minutes.
We exploded
Actually, it
onto the
wasn't
scene.
20 minutes either. It was about 10, maybe 10 and a half minutes.
We've sent a roar across the NRL. I think teams are scared now to play
First
the
win,
Broncos.
actually, we found some stats on our betting show about it even before we came on here. And apparently the Broncos, after wins the last season, conceded 30 points in both of the games afterwards. That's a stat you can take to
30
the bank.
points. So is that less than what you just got put on you?
No, we're just telling you about your, the rule that you keep banging on about is false because historically, and we're talking about the last season and a half, when the Broncos have won, they've got absolutely fucking towed
But
within an inch of our lives.
What did you guys get beaten by on the weekend?
I can't remember.
I don't know. I was drunk.
Again, I said that at the start.
We blacked out.
It excites me.
Actually, I went and played
weird-
pool.
What's weird is I actually really like the Manly boys, but ever since I think we've got a blossoming in friendship, it doesn't bring me any more joy to watch them get absolutely pumped now. So I'm torn. I love the Manly boys, but I also love seeing you guys come in here, especially on. I mean, I can't tell you how much pleasure that gave me to watch you walk through that door after putting shit on the Broncos all week.
Yeah, that was tough.
Because if we put it this way, if we wrap the comp up, you just win the spoon today.
Sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
true.
it's not 3 rounds though.
Yeah, I know, but
and it's never been 3 rounds.
No, the comp's not 3 rounds. That's
never been 3 rounds.
That was last year. Then they all shut down.
That is
Remember? 2 rounds?
batshit crazy.
We shut down after 2 rounds
They
last
aren't
time.
handing out spoons after 2 rounds, COVID affected.
Hey, we shut the season down last year after 2 rounds.
Answer the question: Have they handed a spoon out after 2 rounds? 3 rounds.
This could be the first time. Strange time. Unprecedented times. Haven't you heard that?
They are unprecedented times, but I tell you what, there's one thing that hasn't happened ever in the history of humans existing on Earth, in the history of the universe. Manly has never come last.
Never.
Never.
Guess what happened last time we went 0-3? Hey, yeah, guess what?
What happened?
We came 5th.
I'm feeling you. You know what? You've changed my mind. You've changed. That's a fair
2009, look it up.
We came 5th. So it's fucking.
You've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, I thought I would.
Yeah.
I kept that in the back pocket. I'm like, oh, when am I using this? I'm going to drop this bomb on you.
That
back.
ace. Thank you very much.
Oh, fuck.
Pocket aces. Thank you.
All right, 18th man, boys. I spoke about this on the review podcast, and I believe so. They've said it's 18th man gets brought in, but you need 3 failed HIA tests. I believe it's a bit tokenism. Who's getting 3
But
but it
not
happened
the
on the
point?
weekend.
Yeah, but
That's also the first time it's happened.
exactly. Like,
But aren't HIAs getting more
I think it's not
prevalent?
They're getting more prevalent because they're actually caring about
Yeah.
us fucking
Caring about
brain
your
trauma.
brains. Yeah.
Pussies. Yeah, what pussies? Who cares about their brains? The question I posed to you, do you like the 18th man, or is it a Band-Aid solution to a deeper problem that the game is being sped up a bit too much and there is more injuries? Or do you feel the injuries are happening because players are just getting bigger and stronger?
Well, I mean, I'd need to see the data on if there is a direct link between speeding the game up.
yeah.
Like, is that? I mean, I think we're jumping the gun a little bit. Like,
The game's quicker, right? And that's great. But concussions aren't a direct result of the pace of the game.
I would
right?
have said size and athleticism.
But
I think it's a mixture of both.
But if you're getting concussed, right, that can happen from anything. And as you said, like, we're more concerned about concussions. So obviously concussions are going to go up. Are you telling me Luke Keary does his ACL because the game's quick?
Well,
Okay,
so the argument for that is basically like the more your body's fatigued, the increased likelihood of an injury. That's actually true.
that makes sense. But
So I'm with you though. I'm with you. Like, where is the evidence that directly says because we sped the game up, therefore it's for that reason that
is
we're
rugby
getting injured?
league the quickest game on earth now? Because if it is, then I'll accept that. But like,
Probably
if
with
it's
contact and fatigue. Probably.
AFL would be
But like, look at
similar,
look at
Not the
AFL
same
though.
contact. Nowhere near the same.
not the
contact.
same contact.
The contact is usually the issue, I think. Again, I don't know what the answer is. I'm just finding my way
Yeah.
through it.
Are the stats? What do the stats say around injury holistically? Like not even HIA.
So last year there was more long-term injuries by a relatively substantial amount. But
you could argue that it was like the season was funny,
exactly,
right?
exactly, and also like correlation or doesn't necessarily mean causation, as you know.
Yeah.
Know
that very well.
Yeah, exactly. Being the scientist that you are.
Correct.
Did a thesis on it.
So, no, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Like, the people that are all the way in the camp of, like, it's too fast, there's too many injuries from it, it's like there's been no evidence to suggest that. yet, like linked evidence.
Could you ask, like, when you talk about, like, you know, fatigue, obviously there's more likely to be injuries. Wouldn't that be a similar situation if you reduce the interchange? You're going to be fatigued, right? Like, what I'm trying to work out is what if you can be fatigued because the game's quick, or you can be fatigued because the interchanges are reduced and you're playing longer minutes. Is that, could you say that that's what's causing the injuries?
Honestly, I just don't know. That's the thing. Like, there's no hard evidence. I think.
Yeah, I'm coming to you for answers.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not the guy with the answers.
No,
I'm not the guy with the answers.
Thought you would have done your research. That's all.
Well, yeah, as I said, what we do. The hard thing is because COVID hit at the same time as we sped things up. It's muddied the waters. We don't know. Whereas if this was a normal season and we sped everything up, you could be like, doesn't necessarily mean it's definitely the reason, but let's err on the side of caution. I also have spoken to quite a few current players that do feel the game is a little bit too fast, but of course they're going to say that because they're fatigued and, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Could you argue, though, that in time, you know, in 2 seasons' time, the players will have adapted?
Oh, 100%.
Because I think it's a better product visually.
Oh, absolutely. It's
which is what the metric the NRL is going to use is. You know what I mean?
No,
what's putting eyes on TV and bums on seats.
But then again, if the players adapt and get fitter, then maybe it's not as enjoyable to watch because they're just now able to handle the fucking rigors of the game.
Well, the argument,
if they get to the level where it's like it's sweet.
Well, the argument Blandy's gave me when I was on a radio show and I asked him that specific question. I said, you know, is the game becoming too fast? Because, you know, are you worried about injuries in that? And his argument was, well, if you don't break the rules and give away penalties, it's not going to increase the speed of the game. And I was kind of like, well, I mean, I'm not going to, you can't, it's radio, you can't fucking go back and forth. But I was kind of like, that's a hard metric to go by because like penalties are going to happen and they're fatigued. So, but he did say they are absolutely monitoring the situation. They're absolutely making sure the players are sweet. But with the 18th man, 3 HIAs, it's kind of like a nothing.
But don't you reckon that's kind of what you want? You want it to be only in a situation that is extenuating, if that's the correct word. Like, if you want it to be like, oh, okay, you don't want it to just be something that can be cheated, right? Like, you need to almost have...
Oh, 100%. I believe...
something where it's like, this is out of the ordinary.
I don't even want the 18th man.
Oh, you're not even an 18th man.
Like, I think it's more a bit of a tokenism, like that they've done that, but that we're going to see, it's just going to keep happening. What my point kind of is that it's a band-aid solution. Players are going to continue to get injured, and if they do, it's going to keep being a controversy. Whereas I think like we need to probably look at we need some real data or data.
Well, I mean, whichever one.
But you could argue though that if you start consistently getting 3 HIAs a game and more, which would trigger the 18th man.
Yeah.
If that becomes the norm, then you're like, ooh.
There is a problem.
This is a problem.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So I like the idea of introducing an 18th man, which is going to be rare, seemingly, just, you know, to cover all bases.
What did they say? Because I saw on, I believe, NRL 360. I can't recall, but they were talking about the 18th man potentially being like a fringe first grader as opposed to like some weapon who they just couldn't make the side. So there wasn't an incentive to flout the rules. It's like you'd have to bring on some guy who was like, you know, basically wasn't playing first grade week to week. Was there any rules that came out of that?
I'm not sure. It'd be very hard to gauge that. Like, what would be max NRL games or something. To be honest, as a coach, like if you're worried about trying to, you know, bend the rules, like it's so complicated. Like to make it look like 3 players have faked and HIA and then failed it. That's a lot of work as a coach for a very little gain. You know what I mean? Like that means they can't come back on. That means that they probably can't. I'm pretty sure on the rules they can't play for 11 days as well. If those 3 guys come
I
on,
saw that.
man.
I saw that.
So
yeah, I don't have a problem with the 18th man being whoever.
Right.
But I like keeping it quite strict in that because the coaches will take the piss otherwise.
Fucking oath they'll take the piss. A lot of people saying, like, it should just be with injuries, period. I was like, nah. Like, attrition is a part of the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you see your best stuff is when the big forwards retire and the little fellas get in there and fucking score tries. So, I think that we probably won't really see the 18th man be used. I think that we're going to see probably a bit more... If injuries continue like this, we're going to see more controversy. But the problem is, as a fan, I don't want them to slow the game down. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Every weekend there's like a classic match nowadays. Remember back in the day, it took like fucking one classic match every 6 fucking weeks.
Yeah. And
Mate, there's rippers all the time.
You and
All the
Rennie even
time.
said that when we were watching the live stream on Friday, where you were like, you almost don't realise that the rugby league was a little boring until
100%.
now you're seeing it and you're going like, oh shit, we were just sort of, going through the motions a little
100%.
bit with a lot of games, and now they're all sort of crackers.
Like-
So there's a dribbler that we've been interacting with in our Hello Sport world who's been saying that there's like the drop ball stats mean the game's shit now because there's heaps of drop balls, and I'm trying to work out like, is that something? I haven't noticed that at all. I'm like, the fucking game is phenomenal.
I mean, it's a thinly veiled nonsense argument. Like they use errors as the veil of like, oh, it's not as high quality anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on a sec. Like, how many you can have low percent completion rate, and it's the most entertaining game of the fucking week.
100%.
And then you get this like grind fest of 90% completion rate. We used to see games before the rule change where if teams just completed at 95%, both teams, no points would be scored.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a place in the game for these grind fests, but I mean that's just not, like.
Mate, the only thing I notice about high completion rates is that they're happening. I'm not like, Jesus Christ, this is great football. Look at the high completion rate.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, they're completing pretty high. Like, this is tight. But
Well, put it this way,
it's only
Rabbitohs-
really good in Origin. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like, Jesus.
Rabbitohs are the most. I would believe Rabbitohs are the most exciting team in the comp. Fair comment.
Yeah,
Zach?
Yeah.
Their completion rate's nowhere near as good as the best teams in the comp. So it's fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense. You want a risk reward mixture. You want those, Latrell Mitchell flick passes and that. You don't just want, scoring on the wing every time because you strip them of numbers and it's just boring grind
Yeah.
fest. That's what we had for so many years. And it was literally just Melbourne Storm dry humping blokes up the ground winning premierships.
Mate, it only a small handful, maybe 2% of blokes are like, oh, the game's, it's unwatchable.
Yeah.
You're like, you have lost your
doesn't
mind.
make
You are
sense to me.
arguing the against.
Yes,
Just being a contrarian.
Yeah, exactly. You've been a contrarian, and I cannot stand contrarians.
No,
It's like the bloke that
They're
has.
fucking painful.
they're big old pains in the dick.
They are. It's like the bloke that has that outrageous tip every week, and then he lands it and says, fucking such a good punter. Fuck.
I hope you're not looking at me while you say that.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
I
It's
just feel like you started slowing down your words and you started looking at me. And I mean, do I tip well?
He had a good
Yes.
week.
I had a
And
good
it'll be
week.
his
Did I
only
have a
week.
good week? Am I now fucking feeling attacked? This is bullshit.
No, I don't know why you thought of yourself. That's
Well,
the
because
more
of
worrying
because
thing.
I'm reading your body language. You slowed down your speaking. I could feel your heart rate, and you just looked me dead in the eye. Just fucking stared right into my insecure soul, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. Did I tip the Warriors? Yes, and the Tigers. Thank you very much. We move on though, right?
Okay, so yeah, look, I think if there is 3 HIAs, sweet, use the 18th man. But I think that this is probably not going to be the end of the issue. You know what I mean? Some people
Yeah.
think, okay, 18th man, let's
Problem solved.
all good. I think that we're going to be fighting with making sure the balance is right between, because I do get messages from some players saying, bruh, like, we are fucking this, that, the injuries and all this kind of stuff. Plus you get the stats from the NRL physio who says that it's increased. So I do think there is cause. I'd rather be cautious than not cautious. You know what I mean? You don't want to wait 12 months and fucking 20 cunts have ACLs and whatever.
Yep.
But I do totally agree that we don't want to go back to old footy. The game right now is the most entertaining it's been.
It's the best.
Since the 90s.
And they're not going to turn around midway through the season and
No.
backtrack on the rules, I don't think.
Landis is
I'd be
ruthless
shocked.
enough. He's ruthless enough, in my opinion, to be like, you know what? We're in the entertainment business. So we have to find a way
But
to
he's not
keep the
wrong.
speed. Oh, 100%. Totally right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
hate it or love it, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Now, today,
Yeah.
in the 21st century, Tom.
Correct. Pete's a good friend, by the way.
Pete's a great fan, and I'll back him to the hill.
Yeah, I'll
No.
back Pete.
Well, he's
End of the
fucking
earth.
done. Like, when you actually think about the impact he's had, it's been
Ridiculous.
astronomical. Like, actually astronomical. From the rule changes to even just throwing ideas out there, like just to get you the NRL fans in the right mindset of like, let's move forward here.
But also,
He's an ideas man.
But also just and I don't know how conscious it was, but like his engagement, if that's the right word, of the younger of the audience of the rugby league community. Like, people fucking love him.
Yep.
Like, and they love him almost not ironically, but like there's just something about where it's like it's cool to like Vlandis. Vlandis is funny. Saint Peter, the fucking king, grandson of God, son of Christ, sort of stuff. But like I just don't. There's no one else. Hasn't there been no other sort of leader?
No way. Absolutely not. I think he's
a leader of men.
He is a leader of men.
No,
But he's progressive as well.
Exactly.
He's like, you can't get stuck in the mud with this shit. You got to keep pushing forward.
I love how reasonable he is. Like, he's bullish, but he's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, his ego doesn't stay attached to the idea. He's open to like, did it work? Did it not work? Let's, huge fan of Vlandis. On to the next issue at hand, Sam Walker. They talk about pressure on the back. He's a good sort too. Fucking
Not
great
bad,
sort.
not bad. He's we call him a rugby league twink, I believe, because he's obviously, he's not a bear yet. He's a young,
Kind of like an androgynous model.
smooth, handsome young boy.
Like,
Very
see him down a
smooth.
catwalk.
Oh, definitely down a catwalk. He'd look good in sort of Dior, Gucci.
Tight
Yeah,
lycra.
something like that. Yeah, maybe a Dior.
You know what I mean?
With a Y.
Yeah, Dior with a Y.
Do your own research.
Yeah, Dior.
I've heard big raps on this kid. Like, generational.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Honestly, like,
Where's he from?
he's from Queensland. He was in the Brisbane ranks.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn his back on.
Everyone's just trying to
Turn
get
his
out
back
of
on the
that
famous club that's
burning-
roaring across the
When you've
league.
got the choice between Walker, Croft, you know where you're going.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, you
What are
play
you saying?
smart.
Yeah, you go Croft. Play smart footy.
Consistent, controlling, smart footy.
Yeah.
The 1%ers.
Yeah.
I was up footy.
Get to your kicks
Yeah.
and then fuck them up.
Yeah.
With the greatest respect.
With the greatest respect.
But anyway, he's an absolute out-and-out throbber. The only problem is, and the risk is, he's been put in a position that is arguably the toughest position of any debutant ever.
Well, it's not easy. No six. No, his seven's
He's
gone.
got no six. He's debuting into a side that expected to make a run for the premiership.
Yeah.
They were back-to-back premiers last year. They got bounced out in the prelims, and everyone thought that was a bad year.
They are not winning the comp this year.
They got rid of their other half that would have been a great backup. That's a lot of pressure, bro. Biggest, like, if they...
Who's the old half that was going to be a backup?
Well, Kyle Flanagan.
Oh, Kyle, sorry.
They moved him on.
Yeah, I think I meant old. I was like, who the fuck's
Yeah,
the
nah.
old guy?
So, I mean, talk about... You've got to take this, like, elite club to a premiership in your first year, or there a bit. Like, even making the eight's going to be hard for them.
Surely Robbo goes to him, bruh, don't even think about finals. We're not making them.
Yeah, but
Or
there
maybe-
is an
but,
expectation at the Roosters, which he would be aware of like winning at all costs.
Absolutely.
Like, that's their culture,
I know.
which he's been a part of. Like, you can't just, tap him on the shoulder. Oh, by the way, all that shit that we've been talking about for the last couple of years actually isn't really true. Like,
worry, you're young, bro.
like, we
Don't
just
worry
sort
about
of,
it, dude.
just do your best. We're a PB sort of club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Personal best. Personal best. That's our mantra.
Yeah. Hey.
He's going to go, bullshit, bro. This is win at all cost stuff. But if he's as good as they say he is, it sets up a nice
Has he got a couple of
narrative.
man of the matches in the...
He's killed it. I've watched the highlights.
the lower grades?
And he has had, like, probably 4 tries this 2 games. I mean, he is everything they say that he is.
How much does he weigh? He looks fucking tiny.
I think about 82, 83. He's relatively tall, probably 6 foot, but just like skinny-ish. I'd say he'd about 85 kilos.
I know we'll get into the game, but there are going to be some ginormous Maori throbbers just ready to trounce
Ready
that
to go.
motherfucker.
Ready to go. And that's what I worry about. It's not his attacking side, it's the defence side that I don't know whether he can be good or bad. You know what I mean? It's just that's going to be the
Surely they'll try and hide him a little bit.
question. I mean,
Or did the Roosters go, learn to tackle,
well,
bitch?
that's the thing. A lot of the kind of discussions between coaches and halves is always like, you're not hiding. Like, you've got to learn to tackle, so
Yeah.
you fucking better learn
This
to
ain't
tackle.
rugby union. We're not throwing Quade Cooper.
But what if he goes down?
And could you imagine?
Do you know what I mean?
Don't even
they're
touch wood.
light.
Don't
Touch wood, touch wood,
Don't-
touch wood, touch wood, touch wood,
Well,
touch wood,
I don't know
But
how
what
much
I
wood
do
I'm
like-
prepared to touch after 2013.
No, but we don't want injuries. I'd prefer he just left the club. I would prefer he goes walk about.
Maybe,
Let's
well,
go.
just
Fuck this, I'm
run
out.
Adden at him and he goes, fuck it. I'll come back in a couple of years' time.
Yeah,
I'm not big enough yet. I'm not big enough yet. I'm not big enough
I need
yet.
to go and put on a couple of extra kegs.
I'm
up top.
82 kilos dripping wet and I'll come back when I'm 90.
Yep.
That's smart.
That's smart.
Do the right
That's-
thing, Sam.
Think about your future.
Do the right
Maybe
thing.
just against Manly he does that.
Well, he'd be smart to do it against Manly because we'll trounce him. We'll send all the big boys at him.
All of them.
Now, the good thing is, though, it sets up a great narrative. Could you imagine he takes them to a fucking first year, whispers of Joey in his ear? That would be great narrative.
It takes him to the promised land to a prem.
He takes him at least to, the hype is building towards the grand final. I'm not saying he wins it, but he gets there or thereabouts.
Well, that'd be sick, right? And if he can keep the wheels on at the Roosters, that's a win, right? Obviously, they want prems. Everyone does.
What a way to announce yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's 19?
18.
If he sticks to landing,
Dude,
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So he's 18.
He's 18 turning 19.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what I was doing at that age.
I do.
You remember what you were doing?
Yeah, and it wasn't much. I think I was selling suits at David Jones. $13 an hour.
Yeah, but you're good though, right? You could sell a suit.
Well, that wasn't great.
Were you a measurer? Like, did you do the
I actually hated selling suits, so I stuck to the shirts and cufflinks.
Shirts guy? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
What was the best? Did you get any bonuses or anything like that if you sold?
fuck no, mate. You're a slave to the man.
What was your go-to line? Like, you
did
got
you
to
have
say
like
the same shit every time.
Fuck it. You're pushing me now.
Sorry.
I don't know, maybe 100% cotton. This isn't a blend, sir.
No, this is a blend, sir.
Now,
Which it probably was.
Round one, not round one, sorry. The first game of the week.
Are we unchanged again? Beautiful.
Interesting.
I think. Why would you change a thing?
We spoke about it last week.
I don't know why would you?
Why would you fucking
Doesn't have any
change anything?
sense.
No.
Building combinations.
Jason Sarr was terrific on Friday.
So interesting. They put Crichton in the back. Remember we discussed Crichton at the back. I thought they'd go Staines. They've gone Crichton against.
Would you
Walker.
think that's because Staines still a bit young in the game?
I think so.
Bit
I
green.
think
He had a good game though. Staines.
Yep. I think they probably should have put Staines back there, but who knows? Could you imagine if Crichton goes back there and
Throbs.
Oh my god.
Well, he's an Adonis.
He is a fucking Adonis. Now Nathan Cleary is back, which is pretty much the nail in the coffin for you boys.
I don't know. I think, mate, a week off's a long time in rugby league.
Yeah.
A long time.
What's the trip like from Manly? Oh, it's at home. It's home.
No, we're at home.
Okay.
So that's.
What's the trip like to Brookvale? Well, you tell us, Dan.
It's the nightmare.
hardest road trip in the game.
Well, second hardest, because going down to Wollongong was the hardest. But this is the second hardest.
Well, no, this is the hardest, but if you're Manly,
If you're
obviously
Manly, it's
playing
good.
home is easy,
it's
so
fine.
just travelling to
That's
Wollongong.
like you just drive.
Penrith to Manly is tough. Maybe that plays a role in the fact
Dude,
that
you
they
get
pump you by
fucking stung in tolls, I tell you that much.
Yeah,
I hope
that's
they've
true.
got some money in the kitty there. That'd be
Mate, and they'll be in the bus, so they'll be paying full freight. They'll be $100 one way.
Yeah.
They might pump you by 20 instead of 40.
Listen, I'm not prepared to say that. I'm prepared to say that Manly getting better every week, as I was saying. Again, just combinations forming.
Combinations forming, mate.
It's all about combinations, mate. Most of these guys have never fucking played together at Manly.
You know what's crazy is that they actually had more possession and more sets, I'm pretty sure, than the Dragons on the weekend.
As Tom just said, getting better.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, Des and the boys isolated a metric that they wanted to, to dominate, and possession was one of them.
Yeah.
Now, did it translate into points? Did it translate into 2 points? No, it didn't. But if we, possession this week, points the next, and now we're a threat.
And then maybe the defense.
Now we're a threat.
Defense, maybe even a couple of weeks after that.
Making tackles? Sure. Maybe that's this week.
They don't practice. You don't practice tackling in the off season. I've always heard that defense is sort of just like you grow into.
It's a grow. It's a growing side of the game.
And I don't want to get your opinion on that, Denon.
Now, actual honest talk. Cherry Evans and Foran, it's been, again, huge. A lot of respect for them, fantastic players, but it has been quite surprising how much they've struggled.
What do you put it? Do you have any insight to what you put that would?
Well, I think
down
obviously
to?
Croker not being a 9. I think that all jokes aside, getting rid of one of the best 9s in the game probably hurts. All jokes aside.
All jokes aside. Sound like it, you fuck.
Look, it's hard because it when you look at Manly, it's kind of like, what's the answer? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they've got a bunch of people to come back. They've got one guy to come back, pretty much.
And what's Manassi? Like, can we speed
No, well,
that up?
Manassi's got a court date, I think, in July. So basically his season's one.
Oh, it's July.
Yeah. So I think
so we're done.
unless he gets fucking cleared, then the season's basically fucked.
So we've got Tommy back, basically.
Tommy back, but then that at least means the center's like Dylan is a strike center, I think, when he's When he's on his game, I think he's still good, right?
Honestly,
and at fullback, he is being like he's not being able to be his best self. So that's probably the positive. Yes, you get Tommy back. You also get Dylan in his better position, whether that's Parker or Sully. I don't know. I love them both. Brad Parker is strong as an ant, they say.
Rangers sometimes
Rangers are really strong. But, you're right. Tommy back doesn't add too much. And I think I even heard Daly say earlier in the week, it's like, our attack isn't great, but we're getting absolutely rammed with tries. Like, we're not defending very well at all.
Yeah, the problem is like you've got guys like Jake Trbojevic, who was out and out, the best 13 in the country. No one fucking denied it. And he's getting through so much shit work. You wouldn't say he's the best 13 in the country now, not because of his fault, because the game hasn't been made for him to excel in because he's doing so many shit tackles.
Yeah.
And I just think that they need to somehow get him to stop working so hard. He works too hard for his own good.
Good luck.
What's really fucking good for your club is because lucky you signed Schuster, because if you didn't sign him, he would have about 1 million clubs fucking lined up.
He looked good.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did say I was worried about his size in the back row, but he's honestly probably your best player right now.
He was the shining light of last week. He was like in a game that for Manly was a pile of shit.
I heard he stayed in Wollongong the night before, so that didn't drive down the day.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. But also, cream rises to the top and he's full of cream.
Yeah,
and
okay.
so I think
he's full cream.
He's full cream. Full cream Schuster.
He does look like a full cream bloke.
Yeah. But he was just, every time he had the ball, it was like, oh, he's got it. Something just,
he has
something
that magic.
about him, he's
Absolutely.
just got it.
And also, so Aioli lives in Western Sydney.
Aioli?
Aloy, apologies. Aioli.
I was like, what the fuck?
Like, hold on a second. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, fuck. Sorry, bro. Sorry, LIA. Come on, it's kind of close. It's close.
100% looks similar, but
LIA.
I'm not going to give you fucking any, let you up on that.
I think Josh Schuster, early in the morning, drove all the way from fucking Manly to pick him up in the morning. So that's the sign of a good kid.
And sign of a good club, sign of a club that, like good quality players in and amongst there that are all just going to grow together.
Yep.
But truthfully, though, Penrith are fucking really good and really hot. And the fact that they did what they did against the Storm, both without players, right? Like, without Cleary, without Coruscant, losing Edwards in the first half, and the Storm obviously missing Grant and Hewson. I think that was kind of like, to a degree, cancelled themselves out. And so it was kind of a fair match. And to see what they did, I was like super impressed with Penrith.
They just know each other so well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, especially in defence, they just turn up constantly.
Yep, I totally
and
agree.
they wrestled back momentum really well. Like Munster I thought like he'd, every now and then he was in a position to just sort of take the game away from him, and then they just crawl back.
Oh, the amount of times Munster did get that momentum.
Yeah.
And like break him apart. And as you said, they would just somehow defend it and then get the momentum back. What's also crazy is that they really only have, other than Kurt Catewell, but Kurt Catewell wouldn't have played Origin if there were heaps of injuries. They actually don't have many like Origin players. They don't have many, even Crichton, he may play this year, he may not. When you look at their side, it's such a good side. Like, but individually, you compare that to say a Roosters on paper.
Yeah.
But they play. They're the most well-gelled side in the competition, in my opinion, and their forward pack's number one in the competition.
Matt Burton being picked at centre, is that off the back of his game last week, or was Tyron May not someone that they would be considering in that situation?
I think it must be off the back of his game.
He fucking played well, right? So but I just wasn't sure whether they
good Dubbo stock,
mate. He's a fucking good player. Fucking good player.
He can kick the crap out of a ball.
Oh my god! And just like the poise to come into such a huge clash and not just fuck it up.
Yeah.
No errors, no issues in defence. That takes a lot of fucking...
And with all the hype around him and all the Bulldogs like
all the
sniffing
stuff.
around his,
Absolutely. All right, boys. Predictions.
I'm going Manly with a 19-point start, 19.5 point start. That's the line.
I think under total points.
Yeah, but who's going to win?
Penrith will win.
Oh, bruh. What the fuck, Eddie?
I'm going...
We're going to the game.
Well, who is going to win?
Man.
Man is going to win.
Yeah, Manly win.
Okay.
With a 19 points.
I'm going Penrith 13 plus. I just think they're fucking red hot, right?
I think we're ready to defend. Shoulders on. Shoulders on.
Penrith are just looking incredible right now. I do hope Manly bounce back, but
Do you want Manly to win, though? Be honest. You want Manly
no,
to
I
win?
honestly don't care.
But you'd like Manly to win.
Oh, I
right?
would. Yeah, it'd be great.
You know the boys.
Great
You know the
upset.
Turbos.
Yeah, mate,
You want Manly
I
to
would
win.
love them to win.
You want Manly.
It's good for the league.
It's great for
To have the
rugby league.
proudest club in rugby league
I
football.
don't know about proudest. To have the
pride of the
The
league.
GOP, they're struggling in the pits of pretty much, I guess, mediocrity right now. And
Well.
I want them to bounce out of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's really nice of you to say that. Manly to win. Denon wants Manly to win.
No, but to be honest, it would be good for them to win because it just makes like that. You always want to think that there's a chance the team could win. I feel like at the moment there's like a top 6 sides, and then everything beneath it, it's kind of like fuck. There's really no.
Well, look, we're
It can get a little bit coin flippy the further down you go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
at the moment we're purveyors of bottom 8 footy, and if we go up against a bottom 8 side,
We know what
probably
we're going to
do it.
play this weekend, Tom, on Thursday night? Fuck it footy.
Fuck it
It's
footy.
time for fuck it footy.
Let the nuts sing.
Already round 3.
Throw the footy.
Mate,
Let it sing.
If you're on 3, it's time for fuck it footy.
Fuck it up when you put I think 100 put on us in 3 weeks?
Something
More than? It's time for fuck it footy, Dan.
Okay. All right. I hope Manly win, but I think Penrith will win.
We've gone out to $8.
$8.
Okay, that's interesting.
I've never seen odds that high, I don't think.
Well,
I wonder if that has anything to do with the team list, and they thought, okay, same side. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Rabbitohs versus the Dogs. This is a similar situation in the sense of like, I just don't know where the Dogs go from here. Like last week, they struggled massively. They had no potency in attack. They kept dropping the ball when they really shouldn't be dropping the ball. Whereas the Rabbitohs looked unbelievable. Like Latrell Mitchell is just to go against your old club like that and just take the game by the scruff of the neck in the first half. And,
Yeah.
I love that he's given everyone, all the naysayers, the finger.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Everyone that was like, fucking
Latrell can't play
Latrell, shit, he
fullback.
can't play fullback,
So
he doesn't
overrated.
try, he's fucking overrated, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Biggest
it's whisper quiet now, mate.
Exactly, yeah. Where's all that chat
Whisper
now?
quiet. It's fucking, yeah.
Well, the
it's like-
staff writers at Fox Sports are out of jobs, that's for sure.
Yeah, a few people got fired on the weekend after he
Yeah,
played so
yeah,
well.
yeah.
What's frustrating as well is like he's a back-to-back premiership winning, Dally M centre, Origin winning. Like you couldn't have a better resume at 22 years old, and people still say he's overrated. It's just like, what are you talking? Like, how can you? You don't have to like him.
Is he only 22?
He's 22, 23.
Jesus Christ.
And he should have won Dally M in 2018. BJ Leilua did, but the Trell was definitely the best centre in the competition.
Yeah.
So he should have really won back-to-back Dally M centres of the year. So just it's insane to me. I never understand people that you don't have to like him, even though he's a fucking legend bloke, but to say he's overrated is such absurdity. Look, I think this is going to be a really tough night for the Doggies. I think the Rabbitohs are looking red hot. Walker and Reynolds look more and more comfortable every week.
Yep.
Their partnership with Latrell is getting better and better. Cookie's getting more confident. Pretty sure he got a man of the match. And you just look at that starting 13 and it is fucking... I mean, when you're bringing a bloke like Arrow and Marshall off the bench,
It's stacked.
stacked.
You also forgot to mention that it being an Easter weekend, rabbits are a good omen. Not that you needed
True.
it.
When
but
you,
rabbits love Easter.
when you're backing on vibe, that's some of the biggest vibe you can get.
And as
Rabbits love Easter.
And as Tom pointed out earlier, Bulldogs not. They're
Not an Easter
They're
animal.
not an Easter animal.
No, I don't think so.
No association
I've never heard of
whatsoever.
an
I've
Easter
never seen a
bulldog.
bulldog chocolate.
No,
Never. I've literally never seen one.
never ever.
I've
Never
seen
ever. Have they even made them ever? Never.
No, I don't think
What's
so.
a bad omen?
It's a shit. It's a well,
It's
especially on Easter.
I tell you what, Eddie, I would not want to be Trent Barrett.
Is it?
Looking at your side, going, okay, well, any omens, and then realizing that it's
Fuck, it's
Easter
Easter.
this weekend, and going, we are fucked.
Not only are they fucked, they can't even find a photo for Jackson Topine. They don't even know what he looks like. We haven't
Trent doesn't.
Trent doesn't even know what Jackson looks like. They've just gone, fuck it, let's get that guy.
Submit a.
Yeah. Have we got a photo of Jackson?
No, we
we
don't.
don't.
We're
Okay.
looking at NRL.com people
Yeah.
that
Yeah, if you want to go and see what the fuck we're talking about.
Jackson
Well, just imagine a black outline.
He's a
of nobody.
silhouette.
He's a silhouette.
But in saying that, Dylan Edwards was a ghost for an entire year. And
He was.
the grand
Who
final.
was now becoming human.
one of the best.
Like Casper, he's becoming a boy, and Pinocchio.
He could
but
be the next. He could be the next.
Jackson Topine, a silhouette becoming.
You know what?
That was actually Dylan Edwards' photo for the first 5
Yeah.
years of his career.
I'm getting
That's right.
on Jackson Topine anytime try scorer. I don't know why. Silhouette bet. I like this.
Okay, what you got?
I think it could be. I think that might be held to nil here.
Really? That would be crazy.
I think so. I think 13 plus every day of the
Yeah,
week.
Rabbitohs heavy.
13 plus, I don't think they'll be held to nil, though. I just think that Rabbitohs...
Topine will score.
Yeah, Topine's going to score when he comes on. But
I wouldn't be... Well, I'm telling you, Bunnies on Easter could be to nil.
I mean, talk about Clash of the Titans. Broncos v. the Storm.
The Titans. I was like, the Titans aren't playing the Broncos, are they? I mean, no.
Clash of the Titans here.
Yeah,
Broncos
I guess so.
red hot coming out of last week's game, and they've got the great Payne Haas, the saviour. One of the best.
Payne's back.
One of the best contract signings of all time. Signed him on a 5-year deal. He's on about $500K right now.
No, Seabold's the best signing you ever known.
Yeah,
but
after that.
6-year deal.
After that, Payne Haas. He changes things. We're red hot.
No, look, Payne, I like Payne.
You honestly think you're a shout?
I think that stranger things have happened.
Well, of course, stranger things have happened.
Sure.
But stranger things rarely happen.
They rarely happen, but it is Easter.
So we're thinking this is you're taking a religious bent to this one here.
Well,
You think Jesus has got
a
something
mix
to do
of
with
a lot
this?
of things. It's Easter long weekend. They're all locked up in Queensland. Do it for your state. There's a lot of emotion behind the boys at the moment.
What's
Got moved different states to... Like, they live in Sydney now.
They live in Sydney now, right?
Yep.
Well, that's obviously going to make anyone happier if you're in New South Wales. Do we know, is there, because I thought there was a chance that Victoria were going to close their borders to dirty freaks from
they
Queensland.
might do a
just
double header.
COVID-soaked.
No, I don't know about that dirty freaks bit, because Melbourne definitely can't talk, that's for sure.
No, they
Victoria.
can't. I mean, freaks.
We're
sometimes
talking.
do. We're
Oh,
talking.
okay.
New South
So
Wales
you're
people
speaking
are
for them.
talking.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. So you've got a lot of affiliation that you could speak for them.
No,
correct?
I just mean like as a New South Welshman.
Okay. You can relate to them?
I can see freaks in north and freaks in the south.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Normal people can spot the freaks.
Yeah, exactly.
From the north and the south.
Fair enough. Whereas me being a Queenslander, I can't really...
You can't see it.
You can't see
It's blind
it,
to
dude.
you.
You
Okay.
see just Queensland.
You can't see the
and
forest from
normal
the tree.
people. No. We see Queenslanders, we see freaks. With the greatest respect.
But I do think that, obviously I think Melbourne's, my head says Melbourne, my heart says Broncos, but Melbourne are definitely going to want to bounce back. Like after last week when they should have won it and they didn't, they're going to be coming out fucking firing.
And Pappy's back, right?
Pappy's back, which is a huge in.
How far off is Harry Grant? What the fuck's wrong with him?
Yeah, I think he's a few weeks still.
Tyson Smoothie. No one knows what he looks like either, apparently. Tyson's played the first 3 rounds of the fucking competition and we can't
Still
get
no
a photo
photo.
for Tyson.
Great, just get a selfie. How much? Just get a selfie.
Just put a smoothie there. Just put a boost juice.
That's an opportunity to miss by everyone.
I tell you what, though. Look, I know I'm biased. But when I compare those two packs, it's not that big of a distance.
Right, but when you consider that the pack that you support got the spoon last year and the other one won the comp, there actually couldn't be a greater difference. There couldn't be a bigger gulf.
Yeah, but we have, on the off-season, we've done a lot.
What have you done?
What the fuck have you done?
We brought Kevy back.
You did bring
Kevy back.
And in fairness to Kevy's got a great...
6 premierships.
Yeah.
6 comps, 1 win as a coach.
Is that more than Manly altogether?
No,
No, it's
8.
not.
8.
We've won 8.
8 and Kevy.
So Kevy nearly won as many
9
premierships.
if you include 2013.
So Kevy nearly...
and 2007.
And 2007, which was stolen.
So our coach nearly won as many premierships as your entire club.
You're what? You're coaching...
Our coach, Kevy Walters, nearly won as many premierships as your entire club.
But he didn't.
But he hasn't, though.
But I was like, it's only 2 off. And
Well,
it's
so
just one
essentially,
man.
we've won 10 because we got robbed in 07 and
And
we got
robbed in 2013.
Okay, so it's 10. 10
Yeah, we've won
premierships
10
you've got.
comps.
So
Okay, 10
6 is nowhere near 10.
I mean, it's more than half.
It's 60%.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. One person.
How many
I'm
comps
happy
the
with
Broncos won?
that. More than Manly, that's for sure.
Have you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We haven't won 10.
No, but even if we go off 8, I don't know if you... How many
Well,
have you
Kevy won 6.
Yeah, but he won some at Canberra.
Yeah, that's true. So we won.
I reckon the
good.
Broncos
You know what,
might
it'd
have
be
won
probably-
6.
I
Yeah,
don't-
5
that's
or
true.
6.
No, you actually might be right, actually.
No, I think we are.
I think you might be. But how much longer have you been around? We've
Oh,
only been around for about 30 years.
Yeah, we came in the 40s, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. You
But-
kids on the block.
You take wins when you can get them.
No, I think you might be right, actually. We won
6 premierships.
Yep.
92, 93, 97, but
That's
obviously
not
a Super
counted,
League.
actually.
Take that
That's
out. It's
counted.
5.
No, because we towed them up the
5.
next year. We won the comp the next year and towed them up,
5.
so count it. We would have towed them up.
5. So you won 92, 93, 98, 2000, 2006.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
And
Rob,
hang on,
2015.
wooden spoons, 2020.
yeah, but, tough year.
Storm.
I think Storm cover the line. I think they cover 20.5 points. I think you get absolutely towed. That's what I think happens.
I feel like that's a bit of business
Yeah, spite bet.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
a
think?
spite
Oh, you
bet.
think that's a spite bet?
No, I'm
No,
just
I don't
saying.
think so, mate.
I thought we're supposed to be.
I think that Melbourne wouldn't have lost 3 games in a row in a long time. I can't remember the stats
It was
specifically.
2003.
Okay.
I may have made that up.
And when that, that may or may not be true.
Yep.
I think they come out ripping and a tearing, and I think that the Broncos, they've got their tails up, but who did they beat? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a grind.
Has
But
Tommy Dearden been named? Surely you haven't. No, of course you haven't picked Tom Dearden.
oh my god, we haven't.
He's just realising this. Let's just be quiet. Let's just let him.
Honestly, what are we doing? what are we doing?
He hasn't been picked. He scored a fucking try on the weekend. Who's this guy got to suck to get a run?
It's like we want him to leave the club.
Well, the Cowboys are going to...
coming out hard.
Michael Morgan might be going. Cowboys, Tommy Dearden.
Does that look like Darren Schlong to you at the end there?
I think Schlong every time I read it.
Yeah.
I'd prefer he just put an L in there.
Yeah, it would be better.
Why don't they just change it?
It would honestly be much better. Could you imagine Darren Schlong being like Darren Schlong down the slide down?
Schlong for the winner.
He's broken them apart.
Dude, Schlong with a powerful run up the middle. Now, I mean, I think
Up
it's
the
also
guts.
I think it's also a,
Schlong up the guts, straight up the guts.
it's also a marketing opportunity. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Mate, people change their name all the time.
I think so. Darren Schlong, and he looks like a bit of a Schlong. Oh, it looks like a piece on him.
You know what? As well, Darren Schlong. I think that's the greatest name in rugby league history.
It could be, honestly. And if there's ever a face that looks like he's got a fair package
Schlong.
on him, it's that face right there.
Well,
Yep.
he's got his head up slightly as if like,
That's an alpha move.
well, I know what I'm packing.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
and he's alpha move to reveal your chin, reveal your neck, which has the artery in it, which is a primal instinct to say, look,
That's
I'm
right.
not scared of you.
which is why I'm a chin down sort of guy. I get it. Protect the artery. I'm a coward.
So Darren Schlong could be the next big thing.
Yep. I like Darren Schlong. I like...
again, he's another great omen for me. When I'm looking at how that,
Schlong bet. Schlong
it's
anytime try
my
scorer.
Schlong bet. Schlong anytime try scorer into Brisbane Broncos to get pumped by 20.5.
Get schlonged.
They'll get absolutely schlonged.
Yeah.
It'll be a Friday night schlonging.
I'm on you with that one.
Yeah.
I'm on a Schlong bet Friday night.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go home and load
Yeah,
up.
same. I'm going to put that on. Broncos 13 plus. Schlong to score.
For people listening, his name is Schoenig.
Schoenig.
But it's absolutely Schlong from now on.
When you go to, your betting provider and you scroll down to find the anytime
Schlong
try
bet.
scorer,
where's
you'll
the
go, oh, fuck, there it is.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it'll look like Schlong.
It'll look like Schlong.
All right, I'm going
Be honest.
Bronx. Huge upset. Bronx, huge upset, 1-12.
He stumbled on his
I
words.
just want to see, hopefully, you clip up for your socials, or even if you give it to us, just your realisation that Dearden hasn't been picked was one of the great things I've ever witnessed live. I felt it was like an out-of-body experience. I'm like, I want to just observe this.
I mean, it's pretty outrageous. Like, honestly.
It's completely outrageous.
Like, as a club that is struggling.
You just got your first win with him.
Yeah, we are like.
Get this as well.
One of our biggest issues is our halves area. We need someone for the future. And we're basically saying to him, doesn't matter how good you go, mate. You're not getting the credit.
Well, I think it's Kevy saying, our halves go pretty good. And there is a future for you at this club because you're great. So, Tommy, there's the door.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they don't rate Tommy.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Well-
power brokers at the Bronx don't rate him.
It's.
Have you
I
ever thought
just-
Tommy is shit?
No, I haven't actually. I think he's a good young half, and I think that the risk of losing him is far higher than losing, say, a Croft. If he has to replace Croft can come on from the bench. We can have a Croft on the bench. He's a great. He's a relatively bigger half in the sense he's quite stocky. His defence is good. Upsetting Dearden is the last thing we need to do as a club right now. We just lost the best young fullback in the comp, Reece Walsh, to the Warriors, a non-top 8 side. So I just don't understand why we are risking losing Dearden. Keep him in the side to keep him happy. It's just.
But you're answering your own question. The risk in bringing Dearden in is that you'll lose Croft.
Okay.
that's how the power breakers at the Broncos see it.
They see it differently.
They see it differently.
They see the value.
But that's what I'm saying. I disagree.
Yeah, no, of course.
I don't think, I clearly disagree. I think that you keep Croft on the bench as your 14. He has had plenty of opportunities. I just think take the limelight off Croft, give him time to just relax and learn his game, put Dearden in there, or at least keep him on the bench. We have to keep this kid. And every week he's not in first grade is a week that are closer to him leaving the club.
Put him in the back row like we did at Manly. Schuster's playing in the back row.
The problem is Dearden's fucking...
Well, hang on, have a crack.
If you're good enough, you're big enough.
Look, again, I
learn to
think,
tackle.
Yeah.
I never wish a bloke to get dropped at all. So I'm not sitting here saying, like, I hope Croft gets dropped. But I'm just thinking for the club in the future, we need Dearden at least in the 17. Keep him happy.
Have you ever thought about going for another club?
No.
I'm just saying, think about it.
Manly's looking for members.
Yeah, Manly's looking good.
Okay.
Can I grab another beer before we move on?
Sure, you sure can.
I have one too, buddy.
So obviously Sharks versus the Cowboys. It is. I'm probably back in the Sharks. The Cowboys, I've been pretty shocked at. I think.
You were bullish on the Cows. The start
Well, I wasn't bullish. I wasn't bullish.
In the sense of like,
I said they were the biggest swing side.
They just they just seemed like they had enough in them to be surprised,
Absolutely.
or to be competitive in games where they just haven't looked competitive at all.
Absolutely, totally agree. I thought that they would be much better than they are. I still thought there's a chance they might not be, but what they have put out is been surprising, like really, really surprising. Nowhere near the standard. I just thought Payton was going to get more out. I thought they'd react to Payton, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
New coach, did so well with the Warriors, and it just hasn't seemed to react. Now, they've made some changes. Hamiso's gone back to the wing, which is... he may have started on the wing last week, but anyway, he's named at wing this week. I think that is really good for his development because I honestly believe he was brought in probably a little bit too early. Holmes at the back. The only problem is it's not drastic enough, you know, like... Josh Maguire's been moved into the starting side. He came off the bench. He was injured. But
what else can they do, though?
That's what I mean. Like, I think there's going to be a big clean out at the club.
Have you heard these whispers about Luke Brooks going up there?
Oh, I'm not sure how real they are.
I just saw.
But have you heard them?
I mean, I've heard him say it, but it's very like, you know, Michael Morgan's retiring. Who's another half under?
So there's nothing to it.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, no, dude. It seemed like it's.
Do you think the West Tigers, who can't even drop Luke Brooks, are going to release him?
That's a haymaker to Luke Brooks right there, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that here first.
No.
I'm joking. I'm just trying to.
No, I'm saying I'm a Luke Brooks fan.
No, I know. I'm being a fuckwit.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, I mean, but I thought the Cowboys could probably go some other options before they go Luke Brooks.
Like Tom Dearden. That's who they're chasing. They're literally chasing him right now.
Adam motherfucking Reynolds.
Absolutely. Both. They probably got the room in the... If Michael Morgan retires, they absolutely have room in the cap to go both.
But in terms of clean-outs, where do you reckon they're cleaning out? Like, not to... Like, Val Holmes is a good player, but he came back on big dick money and he hasn't been playing big dick footy.
Exactly. And
he's not playing $1 million a year footy.
He's not paying Darren Slong footy.
No, exactly.
No, he's not.
Dude.
Not Daryl Slong.
No. Daryl.
It's Daryl now, not Darren.
Or is it Darren? Or Daryl?
It's Darren.
It's Daryl Slong. We've changed your name completely.
Look, it starts with a D.
And ends with a D.
It ends with a D.
And ends with a schlong.
I think that I honestly, if I'm thinking about how footy clubs work, they will most likely, I don't have any information to back this up, this is just in the history. If you've got a guy that's been struggling with injury for a few years and he's been on a lot of money, I think the Cowboys would be kind of saying to Michael Morgan, they won't be fighting that hard against him. Like, if he says, I'm not happy and I want to retire, I can't see the Cowboys going, you know, do whatever we can to keep it because he's on such a big wicket right now and they're struggling so much and they clearly need to bring in recruits. Now, that doesn't mean that if Michael Morgan turns around and says, no, I want to keep going, then of course they would keep him. But I do agree with you with the Valentine Holmes as well. Like, those two players are on the big bucks. So if they're not performing as a club, they're ruthless. They'll start saying to them, look, you're not going to get a start next year. You're rah, rah. I believe that the Cowboys, if they start struggling rightly or wrongly, I would never want a player to get released, ever. It's just the way fucking footy is. But Cowboys management will start putting pressure on the big money guys.
Jordan McLean?
Basically saying to them, if you don't deliver in this X amount, just so you know, we don't want you at the club next year. That's what they'll say.
What are those conversations like? Like, how matter-of-fact are they?
Straight up. Okay, it starts off...
how do you deal with, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know it's coming?
No, that starts off little hints. They'd like, subtly push you. Like they'll put you in reserve grade, or they'll stop talking to you, or whatever. But then
they'll stop talking to you.
Yeah, 100%.
But like, what do you mean stop talking to you? Like,
as the coach will stop
they'll
talking to you.
literally stop talking to you. Like they'll come around, they'll shake everyone's hand at the gym, say hi, and they won't talk to you.
What the? Are you serious?
That's
100%.
not subtle at all.
Right, but that's what fans don't realise. That's actually what happens. Like they'll literally be like, "You need to fucking leave this club," especially if you don't take. That
would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's what I keep trying to tell people though. Like it's not just a matter of like, you've got a contract. If you want to stay here, it is. But we also want to go on a different. It's not like that at all. It's literally like, get out.
Shit.
They make your life extremely uncomfortable, and I get why they do it. It's
like
a club.
it's business. It's ruthless.
Business.
It's all that shit. But
100%.
it's still like,
And they're looking for another club to pay a large part of the contract.
If they can, they want to pay $0 of that contract.
Yeah.
That's
what I mean. They want to sell off the whole
Absolutely.
amount.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They basically want to go, look, release, here's the contract, but we're not paying you. But we want to, that's kind of what they'll start. That's what happens in clubs are struggling. Like I know a player recently who they basically said, basically they were a first grader and they said, you're going to be playing reserve grade unless you leave this club right now.
was that Mansour? And I'm not saying you have to answer, but that's kind of what I remember people like. I thought that was,
definitely happened to Mansour.
That's like what happened to fucking Mansour when that was publicised.
Well, but this happened to a player, and then they tried to say, "Oh, we want to give you a farewell," and he was like, "Fuck you!" You basically had nothing to do with my form. You literally just wanted to move me on and just put me in a reserve. Said you're in reserve grade until you fucking leave.
Jesus Christ.
And so a lot of
they
fans
could
don't
be
realize
like arseholes. Well, not arseholes. The player's not an arsehole, but like you could be obstinate about it, right? And just go, all right, fuck you. I'll just sit in reserve grade.
They make
then,
your
and
life
you can
bad.
pay me.
That's what Quade Cooper did at the Reds.
Exactly.
But your value goes down then because you're playing reserve grade. So your
it's
next
hard if you
contract,
get
exactly. So and they know that. So they go, look, we'll put you in a reserve grade. You can sit there for a year if you want, but your next contract's about $75,000, and that's why Mansour was in the. People are like, oh, they would have paid Mansour anyway. It's like, well, yeah, they may have paid him a little bit, but if he stays and just gets paid out his full contract, his next contract, who wants a 32-year-old winger playing in reserve grade?
You're exactly right. But the thing is, if he goes to another club, he still gets that guaranteed contract.
Well, they probably wouldn't do that though. They'd just say, look, we'll pay you half of it. There would be some kind of negotiation.
Where he'd have to take a haircut.
They wouldn't pay
but he
all of
wouldn't
it.
go into
Absolutely wouldn't pay all of it.
But I was under the impression that they'd pay a bit and the new club would pay a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They
But
chip
you
in.
still get your guaranteed contract.
Usually, but you're still fucking moving clubs and getting forced out. But sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it's less. Like when I left the Warriors, I was paid out in a certain amount, and I earned less the next year than what was on my contract at the Warriors.
So is that because the next club you went to was like, listen, we'll take you, but this is
all we can afford.
all we're going to do.
Yeah.
And if your options are limited, you go, all right.
Otherwise, you go to reserve grade.
Well, yeah, you go to reserve grade and sit in reserve grade forever. So it doesn't always work out that you get the exact same contract. And I'd honestly be pretty surprised if Mansour got the same, because he'd be on like 500-600K, I'd say. And I'd be pretty. And Greg Alexander was literally said, like, didn't even hide it. Was like he was getting paid too much.
And the Bunnies wouldn't have had a hole or a room.
They would have no room. They were trying to get rid of Alex Johnson the year before.
But they got rid of Roberts.
Yeah.
They got rid of
Johnston would have
Roberts.
taken a lot of that.
Yeah.
The Charles upgrade would have taken a lot of that too.
Yeah, right.
I honestly don't think he'd be getting paid as much. I think he understands that he'd rather take a 50K pay cut or whatever and spend his time playing first grade.
Yeah.
A
good team.
There's nothing wrong with playing reserve grade, but you don't want to end your career there when you're a guy like Mansour, or at least go out on your own terms. If your form puts you there, sweet. Not forced there because they're trying to fuck you off.
Yeah.
And so I just think, I think Cowboys, Peyton's pretty ruthless. I think we're going to see some pretty brutal negotiations and changes. The Sharks, I think they were actually pretty good last week until they got fucking everyone injured.
Yeah. They didn't look. They were sort of in it.
They had a crack.
Fucking oath they did.
Had a big crack.
And you know what? John Morris, he has specifically selected the side this year because of that. He said, I'm going to pick 17 blokes that are mad at defence because they actually had the worst defence in the comp last year. And it's fucking delivered. Like, they've been in games they shouldn't be in because of their defence. Like, until everyone got injured, they were hanging. They were
hanging in there.
Hanging in there. And it was still the last 20 where the Eels put all that points on them. So I got raps on John Morris. Had his number one centre fucking get piss molten lava. Then he moved on accidentally. Josh Morris, thinking that he had that centre there, Then he had I was like 700 grand.
Josh
less than
Morris
his
has the cleanest piss in the game, by the way. You've
Cleanest
gone from,
piss.
You get rid of, piss you could bottle. It's so clean.
He's never pissed any yellow. It's
it's
clear.
always been hydrated and clear.
Mate, he sells it to Mount Franklin.
Yeah.
100%.
Does it all the time.
That's
Morris
actually
piss.
one of the biggest kept secrets in NRL. Is that you drinking Mount Franklin? It's Morris piss.
Yeah.
Yep. It's relabeled. It's got Morris piss under it when you pull it
Yeah.
peel it off.
Yeah, that's right.
Which here they're going into business post career. Keep your eyes peeled. For
You know what?
Morris.
He actually is releasing a beer and that he pisses in every can.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You're learning a lot. See how much you're learning?
But then you get, unfortunately, Cherry pissing hot lava. That goes.
No,
And
not,
then he's
not Cherry as in Cherry Evans.
no, definitely not Cherry Evans.
I just wanted to clear that up.
Jerry.
Bronson. Jerry.
Jerry pissing, piping hot lava.
Any updates on Rob Fabry?
No, I actually haven't. But
What?
Rob Fabry.
on Rob Fabry and the big announcement and then what's
no,
happening with his cadence.
It's not Rob either. It's Roger.
Roger.
Roger, sorry.
No,
Do you
that's
think that there should be a 7-day turnaround on Watch This Space, or do you know what I mean? Like, you can't say Watch This Space and then it'd be 2 years later. That
No,
you make the announcement.
that's someone who's like always promising.
But I don't
Yeah.
want to disrespect Bronson by saying, and Roger, by saying maybe I missed it.
No, I would have seen it. I'm pretty
You
sure
would have seen it?
And it
I
would have
would've
been a big
seen it
deal.
as well.
Fabry with a young throbber, that's a
Yeah.
big deal. We would have seen it.
I engage with Fabry's page enough that
10
it's up the
days
top of
is
fucking-
is the absolute
Yeah,
cut
10 days.
Yeah.
You can't say Watch This Space and then go to like 3
Unless
months.
you start dropping like suggestive Instagram
But you can,
tiles,
off the
like
back of
drips
Watch This
lava.
Space, you could maybe be like, just really sporadic flashes to
Yeah.
cadence.
That's
Easter
what I
eggs.
mean. You've got to post. You've still got to be
You know what I mean?
posting.
Easter eggs.
Easter
Yes,
eggs.
Easter
Being seen in
eggs.
the background on a track or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in like Spot Cherry. And
Just
he's at
like
the back.
Yeah.
2 seconds of cadence
Yep.
coming soon.
Or like a volcano pissing out lava.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
Slowly.
literally a video of a volcano.
A volcano
erupting.
just erupting. You know what I mean? Watch this
Roger,
space.
Roger hopping out of his car.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, Pierce Brosnan in Dante's Peak. You've got all these volcano movies. Wherever there's lava, you know what I mean?
That
There's
would be
certain
great
things
if
they
there
can
was
do.
just little Easter eggs being posted on Bronson Sherry's, just leading up to the.
You know what I'm going to do when I get home? I'm going to tear those Instagram pages apart, looking for Easter eggs.
looking for Easter eggs. See what's happening.
What is coming soon?
Something. It's going to be big, I reckon.
But they should have said maybe coming soon-ish.
Do you regret not working with Roger in your career?
Absolutely.
You would have played 200 games.
300. Honestly.
Mate, you would still be playing if you'd
You
fucking...
would still be
I wouldn't
playing.
be here, that's for
we
sure.
wouldn't be here.
No, we wouldn't. We'd fucking...
Where would we be?
You know what? Sliding doors moments. You know,
Sliding
I got to
doors.
say, I'm grateful that you didn't work with Roger, only because now we're here.
MIA after this until I got big news for my real fans.
That was 23rd of March. What date is it?
Okay, well, he's saying until I've got big news. So,
The comeback is on 2024. MIA after this until I got big news.
so maybe he's saying, like, I won't be here until I got big news. Don't fucking come looking for me.
Okay. And he's just locked away with Fabry in a lab
Dude.
somewhere.
Just
keep
fucking...
scrolling. Is there any Fabry like on his?
On that photo there, what do we got?
No,
is
no.
there not
As
any
in,
more
like,
photos?
there's more
There was a, that
photos.
was a,
Oh,
a
apologies.
carousel
Apologies.
for all the social media nerds out there. All right, that's it. Dude, that's molten hot piss behind him. You see that?
We're looking at Bronson's Instagram, by the way. Nah, just a few lovely shots.
Lovely shots.
What about Roger Fabry? Is
He pissed all over that Fox League thing, and that's how they lit that. You know, it's like the Olympic
Yeah,
torch,
yeah,
how
I'm
they
with
like
you.
you touch it.
I'm with
What's
you.
Rob Fabry's Instagram?
Roger.
Roger. Why is it Roger?
Yeah, Roger Fabry. FAB. There. Oh, no, it's Federer. Down. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Go to
Bro,
his-
he's got some followers, this old Rog.
See, there here we are. What's this? 17th of March.
One day the crowd will chant your name again. Fair call. Until then, all I want is for you to piss lava.
I want you to smile again. It's beautiful.
It is. And
look
I'm
at
with
this.
him. I'm with him.
I want to see the comeback.
I can't wait for the comeback.
He's at
Dude,
19.8k followers, Roger.
that's what I was saying.
He's a
Look
big
at
deal.
you with just a cheeky little extra. The edgy little your numbers popped up there. Lots of people engaging with old bloke in a bar. Obviously. Roger with 19,000 followers, though, doing very well.
Very well.
That's a fucking flex and a half from Roger.
Is there even enough high quality athletes that could, you know what I mean? Like he would be inundated with requests to work on cadence.
I've heard he's very particular.
Okay.
I would fucking love, and Roger, if you're paying attention, which I know you are,
You know what we need to do?
we need to do a sprint session.
We
with
do,
Roger.
100%.
And it needs to be filmed.
Well, 100%.
We need to film a sprint session with Roger Fabry.
I actually, mate, As you're saying it now, I'm getting excited by it.
I'm thinking about...
We'll go to Sydney Olympic Park.
No, dude, he just does it Moore Park, high knees.
Yeah, but I want to do it on the tartan.
Oh, okay.
I want to go fair dinkum, go and buy our own spikes.
Yep.
Go down there with the bag of spikes and in the blocks. Like, do it properly.
Okay, I'm with you.
Fuck the park.
I reckon I could beat you.
I'm on the...
Who do you reckon wins in a... You used to be 400 runner. Hey. Yeah.
I'd bet you by 300 metres.
300 metres. Oh, in a 400 metre race, you'd beat me by 400 metres.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon you win in a sprint?
In 100, I reckon you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised.
That's code for I reckon I could beat Steve now.
So,
I didn't like what I saw in the beep test we did. I didn't like what I saw.
That's not speed.
I don't think you'd finish 100 with any confidence.
Look, I used to be
I don't think you could sprint 100.
I used to be okay at hundreds.
I don't think you could sprint 100 metres. 100 metres is a long way.
It is
For a big
surprisingly
boy, it's a
long.
long way.
Yep.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I'm like I'd probably take a while to get to top speed, but I reckon I might gain on you.
So you're a 200 metre man then?
Fuck no, because I don't have the engine. It's too far.
Okay. Maybe 110 metre man.
Maybe I'm like a 50 metre guy.
But you can't get your top speed then though.
What we're
75.
talking about is he's nowhere.
So I'm tipping the Sharks.
Tipping the Sharks?
Yeah, I'm going to tip the Sharks.
I'm tipping the Sharks as well.
Yeah, you'd be mad not to after that.
Yeah, after that in-depth.
Oh, fuck. Titans v the Raiders. This is actually, I reckon, going to be a cracking match.
Yeah. This could be the match of the round in terms of like evenly matched teams.
Well, after Thursday night.
And also, Ricky Stewart would be chomping at the bit for a win.
Fuming.
After last week's debacle and unfair.
Yeah,
calls.
it was unfair. But, them's the breaks. We got fucked in the Parramatta game last year. Not that I'm thinking about it still. Raiders of Tarpanay's out.
Here's a question for you. Who would you rather sign, Alex Brimson or Chance Nickel-Klugster?
Brimson.
Yeah, Brimson.
Wow. That's huge.
That's no disrespect to Chance either.
Klugster.
Chan's a fucking animal. I love Chance. Brimson just seems like... a term you've used, his ceiling maybe seems higher. He's still young. I think he does crazy as shit.
I think I've said it a million times now, but he is the most bang for buck fullback in the comp. He'd probably be on about 400k.
Do you reckon he's not far away from a big dick contract though?
Not the $1 million contract.
No,
but he could probably get about 600-700 at a struggling club like the Broncos or something like that.
But picked for Origin. He's like, do you not think he'll get picked for Origin next year?
I think a lot of people don't really realise there's not very many players on $1 million.
As we were talking about the other week.
But 600 seems maybe on the lower end.
No, not for a fullback. Nah,
aren't fullbacks the fucking...
Not for his, put it this way, I don't think Gutho's on 700k. I think he'd be on about 500-600.
You reckon?
100%. 100%. That was the whole problem.
Well, that's a fucking buy if that's true.
100%. I would be surprised if he's over 700k. They literally had prolonged, dramatic contract negotiations because they didn't want to pay him. And the figures that they were talking about in Fox Sports was 750. And so at that time, a lot of people were like, oh, he's greedy, this, that. He's come out and fucking proven it's worth its money. So if it says 750 in Fox Sports, it's fucking really 500 nearly.
Right.
And when I spoke to Clint, it didn't seem like he was not being outrageous with his offers. So I think a lot of people just because of the media think that these big contracts are there regularly, but your cap has got to be in the perfect spot for it. No offense, but look at Manly right now. You can't recruit. Your cap is just completely in those guys. So they're just not around as much as people think. So I honestly reckon that open market, you get around 600k, 3 to 4 year contract. And right now, I'd be surprised if he's on more than 400k.
Shit. Well, you're right then. He is bang for buck.
Because he still lives with 2 housemates. He's not that that's the only measure, but what I'm saying is he signed his contract 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
who do you like though? So Curtis Scott out, Sebastian Chris, good player, back in. I
think this is going to be a cracking fucking match because the Titans forward pack has shown a propensity this year to really aggressively attack the other forward packs. Like Tino and Fafita have made a point
going
after it. And I think that if there's one pack that loves a stink, it's the Raiders pack. They don't back down from any pack. So I actually think there's going to be fucking fireworks in this game.
Ooh. Stink bet.
Stink bet. Absolutely. Absolute stink bet. I'm going to go Titans for the upset because in epic games like we saw last week, I feel there may be a bit of mental fatigue. from the Raiders.
I've taken the Titans as well.
I've also taken the Titans. I've taken them at 13 plus. Sorry about that.
I took them at -5.5, $3.30. If you're interested,
Really? That's
Yeah.
fucking good.
That is good,
I
isn't
think
it?
that's a good bet.
That's a great bet.
Ryan James has been fucking phenomenal as
Dude,
well.
he has been by the season, without a doubt. So Tarpana out?
Yes.
So Ryan Sutton's come in to
Yep.
start?
He killed it last week as
Yeah.
well. 200 plus meters.
Holy shit.
Killed it. He was in my team of the week. I spoke about
They
this
both look
on the
good, though.
podcast in the review. Tino is playing fantastic. So I'm judging Tino on. I think he's an international player. He just needs to rein it back a little bit and get a bit more quality over quantity. He did nearly 20 hit-ups last week, had 3 errors. If he pulls it back and does maybe 16, 17 hit-ups, gets rid of at least 2 of those errors, I think he's fucking one of the best players in the comp right now.
Yeah.
Fafita is a fucking nightmare. Honestly, imagine the anxiety.
Such a handful, mate.
Imagine the anxiety as a half
Such a
when you
handful.
know you're playing Fafita this week. Lying in bed, I'm on the right side, about to get fucking lost.
That would be terrifying.
You know what I mean?
I'd pull a hammy.
Fucking outrageous. And it's like he's perfectly built for bumping people because he's not too tall, he's not too short, but he's thick and big.
Wide as fuck.
Very hard to tackle.
Have you met him? Have you seen him in person?
Nah, not in person, actually.
Because I would just, that's always one of those things that I'm always consistently shocked by whenever you just manage to come past a rugby league player and you're like, holy shit,
He's
they
really
are
thick. His lower
humongous.
body is like thick as fuck.
Who had the scariest legs that you had to come up against? Because whenever
Wendell
I played
Sailor.
footy as a kid, it was like, oh, I've got to tackle this guy
Wendell
with
Sailor.
the biggest legs.
Wendell Sailor
you
ran out.
Yeah, you got to play Dell. That's fucking mad.
Against his comeback game from his
really?
from
How'd
the
you
Nordic
go?
one. I went all right. He broke his jaw. He was chatting so much shit. And I was like just so stoked that he knew who I was. But I remember him running out. And I was like, holy fuck, he's got the biggest ass I've ever seen in my life. Huge legs and like 6'2". And I was like, the fuck? I used to think he was kind of like a rangy, not that tall winger, and a flyer. And he ran out and he was probably the fucking biggest dude on the field. He's massive,
Yeah, he's
bro.
huge, isn't he?
So yeah, and you're just thinking, fuck, if he runs straight at me, I'm fucked here.
Did you tackle him? Did you get...
You very rarely tackle your other winger. You usually jamming in to tackle the centre or the fullback at the back.
Rugby league wingers love to jam in.
Yeah, but it's because we have to.
Why?
Okay, so this does me head in. 'Cause everyone blames the wingers.
Well, you jam in a lot.
In a perfect world, a winger would just be like, yep, got me man. Got me man. But if you just go, I've got me man, and a try gets scored inside you, it's not the centre's fault, it's your fault.
Really?
Even if the centre made the wrong, even if you have, whatever your centre does, you have to follow him
But
in.
it's also your fault if that centre gets a fucking out to the winger and you've jammed in and they've scored.
Yeah, absolutely.
I blame you.
Yeah, if you don't have to jam in and you jam in, like, sweet. But a lot of the time, what will happen is the centre will jam in, you'll come fucking fly. You have to follow no matter what.
But why don't we just stop jamming in, everyone? Centers,
Because
wingers.
then they, it's all about, if you don't jam in, especially on your line, they'll just run over you. So if you up and slide, so usually the system that we had was if they're not in attacking footy, it's just up and slide. Who cares if we give them 20 metres? Who cares? But if you're on your line, you have to jam in because if you don't, they'll just take you over the try line. You know what I mean? So if you up and slide 5 metres and fucking GI is coming around the back and then you try to like back off and then tackle him, you're going to get dragged over the try line. So it's usually jam in on your try line. People that jam in, at the 40 and that, I remember watching the game, or you in beers and footy, you should never jam in unless it is like so short of numbers, in my opinion, when they're coming out of their end. There's just you gain nothing by it other than risking them fucking running 80.
And that's probably the biggest problem is when it's like, because I can get it. Look, I think we can all forgive a jam every once in a while, but like,
Look, I'll forgive the occasional jam, but it's
Okay.
the over jam.
The over jam.
what is it? Like an excess of jam.
Yeah.
No lube, just straight jamming it in.
Straight jamming.
Okay.
That's not good.
Okay. It's usually the centre's fault. I'm just going to fucking say it.
That's fine. That's exactly what a
That
winger
sounds
would
like
say.
something a winger would say, yeah.
It is exactly what a winger
exactly
would
what a
say.
And what do
would
the
say.
centre say? If you're a centre, you'd be sitting there going, fucking wingers. They're
I'll
always
tell you
jamming
what,
Always
yeah,
jamming
if a centre doesn't jam in and a winger does, it's 100% the winger's fault. But it's usually the 2 and 3 defender, not slide. They're getting too committed to players they shouldn't get committed to.
See, it's funny. I don't see it that way. I see it as like everyone's man for man, and then the
And
winger
the winger
jams
just
in.
fucking
That's what I
flies
see.
Okay.
I could be
okay.
wrong.
Okay, what we got here?
Titans.
Titans.
I'm going-
-5.5.
Titans 1 to 12.
13
which
plus.
is a pick your own line.
Knights v the Dragons.
Match of the round.
I mean, they looked red hot last week, Dragons did. They looked red hot.
Did they though?
Blake Laurie
Did they though?
looked like Glenn Lazarus.
Blake Laurie.
Looked like Glenn Lazarus.
Greatest front rower in the
Honestly,
game.
I thought Glenn Lazarus had come out of the fucking grave. He's not dead yet.
He's not dead.
Glenn's still with us.
Grave. Yeah, Glenn's still here. How dare you?
How dare
The footy retirement, I meant to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was just tearing Manly apart. Shades of Glenn Lazarus.
Rest in
Laurie.
peace. May he rest in peace.
May his
R.I.P.
career,
Glenn
his
Lazarus.
career rest in
May
peace.
Glenn rest in peace.
All jokes aside, you know what? The Dragons did look fucking better. And Zach Lomax is a fucking great player.
He is a good player.
He is he continues to impress even when the Dragons struggle. He's still playing good footy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine him at like any of the top 4 or 5 sides? How fucking damaging it would be. Corey, the biggest out though for the Dragons is Benny Hunt.
What is the time frame?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6.
Yep.
For a broken leg.
Well,
broken
it's a
bones
fractured
sort of-
tibia of
Fractured.
impact. Yeah. I Googled this. Do you know broken and fractured is interchangeable? Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, broken just sounds more dramatic. That's why I use it.
But what about snapped?
Snap.
What
is
about
obviously-
compound fracture?
No, that's through the skin, baby.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
like,
What's snapped mean?
that's what I mean. Is that like completely through?
Snapped something going to be
yeah,
different.
If you snap your bone,
Well, what's that called?
snapping your bone.
But it'd also be broken, right?
Yeah, I would. If someone said,
Or would you say snapped?
I think you'd say snapped, or you'd say like, he's fully broken his bone. I guess.
Clean break.
Clean break. Could
He's
be.
fully broken.
But I mean, I Googled this shit. Fractured and broken apparently are interchangeable.
and snapped and broken, potentially the same thing.
And
as well.
compound means through the skin.
Through the skin.
so
there we go.
Anyone listening? That's what it is.
The Knights were disappointing last week.
They absolutely were. Their backs together had 11 errors. So if they can fix that, they win the game. Because that is, you absolutely do not want that.
How long is Bradman out for?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure.
Of greatest rugby league head of all time fame.
I think, honestly, it's going to be a solid win for the Knights. Without Benny Hunt there,
Yeah.
bouncing back from last week, making sure their outside backs, don't make as many errors. I think it's going to be quite a solid win for
You
the
don't think
Knights.
Adam Clune can step up?
I mean, I think he can, but
Can he play the Sam Walker role
well,
for the Dragons?
maybe he maybe can, but when you look at those two packs, the problem with the Knights last week is their backs let them down by dropping so much
Yeah.
ball. If they don't drop the ball, I just think that pack is a bit too strong currently for
How
them.
good is fucking Tyson Frizzell? That try he scored as well. Like, he is
An
just...
athlete.
He is so good, so strong.
Yep, and Connor Watson's been fantastic as well.
Mate,
Is he-
loving him at 13.
He's
Is
great.
Connor is he in career best form?
Probably. He was fucking outstanding.
He
on the
seems
weekend.
like he's found his groove. He's found like what he needs to do to
he's
be the
always
best
been
player.
fucking good.
He
He's
plays
always
with
been good, but
shitloads of grunt, though.
Yeah,
like,
oh, he's always
loves
a
it,
grunt.
mate.
He's always been good, but it seems like there's been it's been patchy.
yeah,
or like he hasn't known exactly, like he's been moved around.
But he's been moved around a lot.
exactly,
moved
and I
around
think
a
that's
lot.
hurt him. He's being moved around a lot, and he's so good at being moved around that as soon as you need a fucking whole field,
Yeah,
boom, Connor
he's a
Watson.
victim of utility
Yeah,
value.
absolutely, and I just think that the new game suits him perfectly. And he's actually beefed up quite a bit.
He has.
Big solid boy now.
Yeah, and he's
Great
hot as
physique.
fuck.
He's hot as fuck.
I
He's very hot.
call me
Very hot.
controversial. I think that he is challenging Bloke FC captain, whose name's escaped me.
Cam Murray.
Cam Murray. He's challenging Cam Murray for
Mate, go on
hot.
to Connor Watson's Instagram.
Oh no, I've been there. I've been
It's,
there.
I think he is as hot.
it's a smorgasbord.
He's as hot, if not hotter, than Cam Murray. There, I said it.
Okay, I don't agree.
He's very
but
brooding.
he is brooding, but what Connor Watson does bring, he's willing to go different looks. He'll have the goatee,
That's
he'll
it,
shave
dude.
it off, he'll have the shaved head, he'll go
He's
the long hair.
He's the fucking Chris Hemsworth of the NRL. He's the
Wow.
closest thing we've got to a Hemsworth.
He's got Hemsworth arms.
See, I reckon he's a bit more artsy than Hemsworth. You know,
With
a
the
bit more-
mo, he can look a bit artsy.
Yeah, but he's an actor. He can change his
Yeah, that's
change
true.
his appearance.
He's
Good point. He can be
in
anything.
touch with his thespian
He
side.
can be anything you need. Do you want me to just be a hot footy player, or do you want me to be a hot footy player with a
Yeah.
moustache? What about a hot
Or do
podcast?
you want me to be a
fucking-
hot lover?
Yeah, I'm a hot footy player with a necklace and no shirt on. Like, yep, I'll take that one as well.
Imagine
Something to
so
think about.
him and Kalen Ponga live together.
Yeah, they're like best buds.
Yeah.
And they've got their kid off a lot. And
Dude.
I'm like, Jesus.
Shirtless season.
Imagine like was it 6 degrees of separation or whatever, where
Each
a person that knows.
Yeah.
Imagine the chicks they've hooked up with. There wouldn't be a chick that doesn't know a chick that one of them hasn't hooked up with.
Well,
Single, obviously, consensual.
Of course. I mean, when you go like just hottest property on the market, obviously these two gentlemen are the hottest property on the Newcastle market. So
imagine the gossip around the Connor Watson, Kalen Ponga house. Like, have you been there?
Have you been to 257
Collective?
Hot Street?
Yeah, they'd be running out of. I mean, I don't want to speak for them, but
Listen,
it'd be a high traffic area, wouldn't it?
Mate, high traffic.
Are we creeps at 31, 32, 33 talking about 24-year-old hot guys? Yeah, a little bit, but I make no apologies for it.
I mean, if you're not doing that, are you really enjoying your footy?
Connor Watson, hottest player in the NRL.
In the NRL.
With the greatest respect to Cam Murray.
I just think Cam Murray's baby blues is just getting him across the line.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the facial hair.
Yeah, but who do you want to hold you at night?
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Who do you want to tussle with?
But I want to be. I think I could be the man in the relationship with Cam. And I want to be the man. I don't want to be the girl.
Yeah, but sometimes you want to be held.
Dude,
Okay.
yeah. You've pulled the wrong rein there. I want to be held.
No,
dude.
I've got intimacy issues. I'm not being held.
I think you need to be held.
You know what you need to try and emphasise? You need to be Little Spoon every now and then.
Yeah, dude. Denon needs to be a little spoon. And I think Connor's the man to do it.
I know he is.
He definitely is.
I know he is.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Blake Green's back. Huge backing.
Yeah, he is back.
Mate, is that
Good to see him back.
Is that a quick return from ACL? When did he do that?
I'm just glad we got the important issues out of the way before he went to one of the fucking biggest signings of the off-season.
He's fucking back in.
No, that's huge.
That is huge. Good to see him back. That fucking that ACL injury was like everyone. It was on a sad one. He's an older player, and did he not get signed with the Dogs? Did the ACL? Then they dropped it, and then he stayed with the Knights.
I think so. Yeah. Which is probably Blake Green's won there. He was going to go.
Fucking oath
He's won massively. So, great that he's back. If he stays injury free, that changes a lot too. Because like him and Mitchell at 6 and 7 is a very different fucking story. I think Jaden Brayley is career best form. Andrew McCulloch's also playing fantastic. I think it's actually going to be quite an entertaining game.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to go. I'd say Knights by 10.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go with you. Knights 1-12. Connor Watson.
Knights 13 plus. Knights 13 plus.
13 plus.
13 plus.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I think they'll struggle to score points without Benny Hunt, and I just think if the Knights get a bit of a roll on.
Is anyone else watching Denon's battery just go down and down? I'm like, I wonder if it's going to make it the whole way through.
Hopefully. Okay, Warriors versus Roosters. Obviously you've got Sam Walker starting, Drew Hutchinson in the 6th role. Look, I think that if I'm Trent Robinson, I'm changing the way we play and being like, we are a forwards team through the middle. Like
shutting it down.
Yeah, just through the fucking middle and just completion. Go the grind route. That's what I'd be doing.
So that's kind of what they got to do, certainly for this game, right? Like, just as trying to get there.
Sam looks so young there, doesn't he?
So young and pretty.
Yeah, Sam just looks like...
No, he looks like a boy that doesn't shave.
He does, yeah.
The problem is that you've also got Freddie Lussick in the 9, who is also a rookie. Now, Verrills is back soon. Victor Radley is back soon, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't put Victor Radley in the 9.
Well, Victor's...
13.
Yeah.
Did you just say he's back soon?
No, sorry,
he's back. Sorry, he's back.
Yeah.
Verrills is back soon.
Right.
But I probably did say Victor Radley's back soon. But I'm surprised they didn't put Radley in the 9 just to firm up that. He is at 13, so he'll be in the middle. Because I just worry, you got Sam Walker, you got Fred Lussick there.
It's a toddler's spine.
It's quite a
not
young
a full-grown
spine. Well, 3 out of your
spine.
4 are very, very young.
Yeah.
But look, you know what? I'm still going to tip the Roosters.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going Warriors, and
I've
I'm
tipped the
bullish.
Warriors.
I'm bullish on Warriors, and I always am.
Look,
I'm a value-based guy. Warriors 13 plus.
Great comeback, but they were down by 30 or 20. That's a fucking bad sign. Even though it was an incredible comeback, they still were down by that. And I just think that
the Roosters were down by a fair bit against the Rabbitohs. You know what I mean? Again, they're a better side. But
look at that back line for the Roosters. Fuck. And then you go to their forward pack. Yes, Sam Walker is new, but that's Crichton, Tokiaho, Isaac. You know what I mean?
It's a dope team.
It's still a
But the halves are so critical
I know. But would you
to
say
the outcome of a game. And I'm just like, I just don't know.
Would you
enough.
say Sam Walker and Drew are that far behind Cody Nikorima and Sean Sullivan? You know, Sean Sullivan's a rookie too. Nikorima is obviously better currently, but are they that much better?
Drew Hutchison, I don't know anything about Drew, but were you saying that he was a hot boy on the rise? Like he was like a big dick swinger coming through.
Big deal. He's been around the traps a little bit now, but he's a big body, so defense isn't going to be an issue for him. As I said, I still think Cody Nikorima, with the information we have, is the best half on the field, but his halves pairing is still a young guy as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that much of a. I'm backing the Roosters.
All right, I'm going Warriors 13 plus.
13 plus.
Warriors 1 to 12.
Dude, I just like
13 plus. I know it's outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, I think that everyone by this stage goes, we probably don't listen to him. But I mean, Warriors, Tigers, who knows? They weren't 13 plus though. They were just wins.
So this is our beers and footy game. Eels versus the Tigers. I actually think this is going to be a fucking cracking game and much closer than people think.
Battle of the West, Easter Monday. Jesus has risen. Everyone's fucking.
Jesus is back and everyone's pumped. That's what Easter Monday's about. People are like, fucking oath.
He's back.
He's back. He's back.
He's back. Like Lazarus. Glenn Lazarus.
It's actually a very important day for St. Peter, Flanders.
True. Of course it is.
His father, Jesus back.
Jesus back from the
Do you
dead.
reckon he's having the weekend off? Or
No,
no?
the weekend off.
He's
Well, I
going
don't
to
think there's a weekend off, but there's certainly a lunch at the house.
There's
Jesus
a lunch
comes
okay.
around.
Luncheon.
They fucking
All
catch
seafood.
up. They break bread.
What do you reckon they talk about? What do you reckon Jesus' thoughts are on the new 18th man?
Oh, you don't think Pete was fucking talking to his dad about it before he came up with this shit? Like he consults. He speaks for Jesus. Like
because Jesus looks into the future and goes, "Okay, will this work? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does."
Do you reckon they spoke about Manly?
Well, he says that all great clubs, even the greatest of clubs, need to have their lulls, their
The
troughs.
same way Jesus died on
There can't
Friday.
be peaks, Denon, without troughs.
Hey, I'm with you.
Do you know how Jesus dies on Friday, rises Sunday or Saturday or Monday, wherever it is? It's like that's the same thing with Manly. Manly is
there must be
dying.
sacrifice before there is glory.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question.
Manly last weekend was crucified, and this weekend we shall rise.
We rise Thursday.
I can.
We rise early.
We rise early.
I can sense that.
Morning glory, early rises, Manly, 13 plus Thursday. Not what we're talking about, but just to let everyone know.
Eels versus Tigers. Dane Laurie's been fucking fantastic.
Big fan of Dane's work.
I think it's going to be a close match. I still think.
You think it'll be close?
I think it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be close.
How
match.
close?
Within the one to two try max range.
Really?
6 to 10 points.
How good? How like? Are you correct?
Well, I mean, I was last week the Storm and that. I picked Melbourne, but I said it was going to be a very close match.
Do you ever get it right?
I mean, I get it right sometimes.
Oh, fuck, that's funny.
I'm just doing my best like you boys. I'm just doing my best.
There was a stat that fucking Michael not to plug our betting show again, he said about the fact that he said
You kind of have the whole time.
But he said something about Parramatta that made me think it was like Parramatta and Tigers head to head, and it just made it sound like Parramatta will beat the fuck out of the Tigers. So I can't remember what it was, but I'm going Parramatta to win.
Look, make it that what you will.
Yeah. Well, you know what he says? He goes, I'm pretty sure that I remember back in 2017 a Monday game that Parramatta won convincingly. So I'm going
I said
Parramatta.
2 years ago I was in Tasmania and I remember that I'm pretty sure that Parramatta played on that game and they did pretty well. And I was like, fuck it. I like Parramatta to win and win well.
Oh, I am going Eels to win, but a close game.
Close.
Eels 13 plus.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think so.
Again, like with the forwards of the Eels are just hot to trot.
Yep.
The Tigers looked all right. They looked good against the Knights last week, but maybe we were getting honeydicked by the Knights because Bradman Best pulled off a fucking couple of huge plays against the Warriors.
That's true.
By and large, the Tigers have sucked balls and sucked them hard. So
Adam Dewey played really good last week.
yeah, no, he did, and it was good to see Adam back in the game. But I mean, fuck, the Eels are seriously good. Sean Lane with his again. They haven't changed Sean's photo. The Dallas Pies Club special.
They've shrunk his head. Look at him next to Junior Paulo.
That's what makes it worse, I think, is he's right underneath Junior, and it's like, fuck, he looks like someone stuck a vacuum cleaner in his bum and he's just shrinking. Anyway.
What are those, storage bags.
Yes, exactly. Vacuum sealed.
Like,
He's
you know,
vacuum sealed a bunch of clothes inside Sean Lane. Anyway, Eels to win. Eels to win.
Eels to win.
13 plus, both of yous?
Yeah.
Wow.
Take that to the bank.
Take it to the bank.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you go and I think that's the last game it is, Monday.
Yeah.
Make sure you go subscribe to Hello Sport podcast. Also follow them on Instagram. They've got Punters and Dribblers on Facebook.
Yep.
They've got Above or Even.
About even.
About Even, sorry.
Yep.
On Facebook
YouTube.
group as well.
About even Facebook group. About even on YouTube.
Go subscribe, all that stuff. I watch it. I love it, as usual. Oh, and Bloke in a Cardigan. Make sure you get it. Support the platform. Check our social media for locations. As usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.